Hi guys, and welcome to the Watch Lobby. Before we get started on today's video, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone that watches these videos. If you like what you see, please don't forget to subscribe. It definitely means a lot. What we are reviewing today is a watch that for me you could call my gateway luxury watch. It was a watch that I guess pushed me into that luxury tier of watch collecting. It's the Breitling Avenger Seawolf. I purchased the Breitling about 7 years ago while travelling on my honeymoon. I think being into watches, everyone knows Breitling, but these days there isn't much chatter about in the Breitling realm. At the time, I hadn't ventured into a luxury wristwatch before, like most having visions of obtaining a Rolex or the likes. During my travels, I came across this Avenger brand new for an incredible discount. I walked away from the purchase on the day I saw it to do some research, as much watch guys do, and after a couple of days, I returned to make the purchase. Now generally, the common knowledge for Breitling pieces is to make sure you get a great deal. I'm certain I got an absolutely outstanding deal on this one. This one came in right around 2,700 Aussie dollars. $2,700 for a brand new Breitling Avenger was something I was happy with, so I ended up bringing the Avenger home with me. 7 years later, here we are. Unfortunately, the Breitling doesn't get as much wrist time these days, but it holds a special place in my collection. There's an elephant in the room here that needs to be addressed. That elephant is the Breitling Avenger Seawolf. This thing is huge. Let's just jump straight into the dimensions of this one. It has a 45.7mm case diameter, 50.2 if you include that monster crown, 53.9mm lug to lug, and it's crazy 18.6mm thick with a 20mm lug width, and sized up for my 7-inch wrist, it comes in at 231 grams. There is no doubt about it, this is one insanely massive chunk of metal. Now, those case dimensions serve a purpose. Not a purpose that actually helps anyone, but a purpose nonetheless. They all contribute to the Seawolf's water depth rating, which comes in at 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet. Why on earth does anyone need that? Current me asks past me that question almost every time I strap this watch on my wrist. It seemed like a good decision at the time. As I've progressed through my watch collecting journey, I find that purely for the comfort factor, this Breitling finds itself sitting in my watch box more often than it's on my wrist. With the dimensions we've just gone over, there is some serious wrist fatigue with wearing this for a lengthy period of time. The case itself, however, is really well finished. Brushed lug hoods with a polished side case, integrated crown guards that hug the crown beautifully. May I add, the crown itself is 5mm. On the opposing side of the crown, there is a helium escape valve for when you take this bad boy down 3,000 meters into the ocean. Topping off the case is a brushed steel bezel, which again is polished on its sides. Admittedly, this has to be one of the best ratcheting bezels I've ever felt. I don't mean for the price, I mean ever. Every single click is crisp with zero movement or backplay in the bezel. I like the subtle feature of the floating indicators on the bezel that hover over I guess what you might call a bezel ring. And only a few years ago, about 4 years after purchasing the watch, I discovered the Breitling B logo engraved into the side of the bezel. A great touch. Under the bezel, there is an AR-coated sapphire crystal which does its job brilliantly. Looking through the crystal, we see a dark blue dial, which was the colour of choice for me, with those high-polished rectangular hour indices, which are not loomed, but do have a lume dot flanking the outside edge. There are 2 lume rectangular hour markers at 6 and 9, and the lume triangle indice at 12. There is also a high-polished frame boxing off the date wheel. Breitling went for a simplistic sword-like hour and minutes hand filled with lume and a red-tipped seconds hand. And in true Breitling fashion, most of the free space on the dial has been occupied. Starting at 12 with the Breitling Wings logo, the word Breitling and 1884, Then at 6, the words chronometer, officielement certifié, I've truly butchered the pronunciation of that, the word automatic in red cursive, and 3,000 meters / 10,000 feet. It's a bit overdone, but Breitling seemed to get away with it. Overall, I don't mind it, but I would have preferred possibly less text, especially down at the 6. The lume on the dial falls short in my opinion on where a watch like this should be. You'd be hard pressed to see the lume on this piece 3 meters underwater, let alone 3,000 meters. If you want good lume, get a Seiko. Flipping this one over, we have a solid screw down case back, again with the Breitling logo and the exact same words as on the dial. Chronometer officielement certifié, which definitely could have been left off the dial. I guess Breitling really just want us to know that it's officially chronometer certified. Inside the case is where we'll find the chronometer officielement certifié movement that Breitling want us all to know about. The Breitling caliber 17, which really is just a Breitling modified ETA 2824, which comes in with a 28,800 beat rate and 38-hour power reserve. A bit lackluster considering Breitling made a big deal about it all on the front and the back of the watch. Moving on to the bracelet. With solid squared off end links and the Breitling iconic angled link design with the removable links held together with screw pins down to a machined high polished friction clasp with 4 micro adjustments. I personally enjoy the angled link design Breitling use on their bracelets. It's a great touch in my opinion. It would have been good to see a trigger release system on the clasp, but other than that, it's well designed and executed. There are no sharp bits that dig into your skin, which helps with comfort. Overall, the Breitling Avenger Seawolf is a great piece. Wearability is a bit subjective. I personally find that I don't enjoy wearing it for lengthy periods of time, as it's such a hefty watch. I mean, wearing it for a few hours of the evening isn't bad, but for it to be a watch you strap on your wrist before you leave for work in the morning and take it off when you get home, it might be a bit tiresome. It's definitely a very top heavy watch, and that's obvious as you wear it. There is a fair bit of wobble on your wrist as you walk. I'm not sure there's anything Breitling could have done to combat that. Over 18mm thick, actually I don't think there's anything anyone could have done to combat that. If you're a guy that likes bigger pieces and are already accustomed to wearing larger pieces, I think you might enjoy the Avenger Seawolf. Over the years, I've found my preference to downsize, so I'm more comfortable in the thinner, sub 42mm case diameter, so when I strap the Breitling on, it's definitely a massive change on wrist to other pieces in my collection. However, regardless of measurements, I've still found this more comfortable and enjoyable to wear on bracelet compared to my 2-door GMT on bracelet. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, I'll leave a link for that somewhere. It'll be my first time linking a video, so let's see how this goes. That brings us to an end of another video. If you like what you see, it would mean a lot if you could smash that like button, comment and subscribe. And as always, thank you and stay safe.